Now, to expose the left's most egregious lies, I want to bring in Dinesh D'Souza, conservative commentator and author of the new book, United States of Socialism. Along with me is Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor, host of the Dan Bongino podcast. All right, let's dig into this, guys. The first lie, the left's claim that Trump cut the CDC's budget. Watch.
They haven't set up a pattern on how to proceed. They've cut the funding for the CDC. They've cut the Center for Disease Control. They've cut the funding.
Dinesh.
Absolutely outrageous. And what we have is the Democrats here in complicity with the media. You see the smug expressions on the faces of the media attacking Trump. And, you know, it's a refutation of an old axiom, which is that when there's an external threat, a war, 9/11, a virus, that in a sense, heals the dividedness within a country. It tends to bring people together. We're not seeing that happen, which tells me that the dividedness in American politics is worse than ever, maybe worse than ever at any time, perhaps going back to the 1860s.
Dinesh, I always remember they kept complaining that the White House didn't do enough White House briefings. Well, now they want them to end. Check it out.
I would stop putting those briefings on live TV. Not out of spite, but because it's misinformation.
These briefings are substitutes for the rallies. There's no question there. It's his outlet. It's his ability to command the stage. He knows he can dominate the newscast.
Unhinged briefing by unhinged briefing. President Trump is making it worse.
Dinesh, I'm screaming, laughing when I'm watching this, going, okay, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He doesn't want to see why he speaks, and he takes every question, but he's really good at it, and they hate that.
They hate that. And also remember that a few weeks ago, Jennifer Rubin, the Never Trumper, and others were all putting out the idea that there was so much misinformation being put out by the president and by Fox News that we would see spreads of the coronavirus in the red states. Republicans would die. But in fact, interestingly, these spreads are mainly in the blue states. And what I find kind of interesting is you have these blue state governors and mayors, and they're criticizing Trump, but they also have the outstretched hand. They want Trump to intervene. The same guy that they've been calling a racist and a fascist for 4 years, and now they want the racist and the fascist to step in and help them out. You'd think that if a racist and fascist was the guy they needed, they'd prefer to go it alone.
And Dan, from the beginning, when the president rightly tagged China for not being forthcoming and transparent, still to this day they're not on the data that's been already collected. We still don't have all the data. I mean, it's almost like, and I don't want to believe this, but that people are almost rooting against America in a crisis. That's never a good place to be, Dan.
No, and the spreading by some in the media, Laura, of known active Chinese propaganda. Listen, it's tautological to say this is a virus that originated in China. To attach that to identity politics, as many in the media, Laura, for days, they wasted 5 or 6 questions at a presser asking if it was racist to refer to a virus whose origin was in China as a Chinese virus. They wasted their question because, you know what? They know that China found our weak spot. Compliant, useful idiots in the media who would play identity politics at the first opportunity, again, to dunk on Trump, because that's priority number 1 these days.
And Dinesh, one of the funniest things, the second Trump said the word Easter, and wouldn't it be great if churches could fill? I mean, it would be great. This is Lent for Catholics, and Easter is the most important designation and most important marker for our faith. And yet he says that, and you might as well have thought like he personally infected people with the coronavirus. They went crazy with that.
Yeah, I think part of the fanaticism here, the venom, is aimed at propping up Biden. The problem that Biden has is that, it's never a good time to put a clueless, doddering guy like Biden in the Oval Office. But when there's a crisis and when there's an economic malaise, that would seem to be the worst time ever. And yet the inability to prop up Biden means you got to go after Trump. You got to relentlessly attack Trump, hoping that that will somehow accrue to the benefit of the Democratic candidate. That's part of the politics of the coronavirus.